The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University. Hello and welcome to the Art Beat on 105.7 FM KLZK. I'm your host, Peter Martins. I hope you're having a great weekend so far, and I am going to introduce you to my special guest today, Kristi Mangiapane, who is in the Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts in a supporting role as the lead administrator for Outreach and Academic Awards. And I believe we're going to focus a bit today on the first of those, the Outreach, and really maybe flesh out more than anything our contact with alumni, which falls under your purview. Hi, Kristi.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Great. Thanks for making the time. And I kind of know of you as the alumni person. Now, first of all, you're an alumna yourself. So tell us your background in at Tech and coming into this position.
Yes, so I am an alum of the School of Music. I got my degree in vocal performance, and I graduated in 2010. And I had originally wanted to pursue performance as my career and kind of had to take a career pivot. So I moved to Dallas and was there for 5 years and got involved with the Texas Tech Alumni Association Dallas chapter and started really seeing a lot of movement with alumni engagement and found a true passion in it and saw there was a lot of work to be done. So I was really happy that our college had an opening for this type of position and something I could step into.
Great. So your work kind of bridges development in a way, but then also obviously the kind of student support side as they segue from being a student into being an alumni. And I know one of the challenges and focuses is kind of grabbing those students or keeping them involved, keeping them enthusiastic about the institution and about their work here after they leave. How do you go about doing that? What's the kind of the pathway to a significantly involved alumni?
Well, it's interesting because with alumni engagement, that's a very hot topic right now, especially in higher education. And really just seeing what has been trending, what alumni are wanting and needing, that has evolved over the years. I've been doing alumni involvement for 10 years now, and how I've seen it evolve and change. Right now, alumni want to feel heard and seen, and they really are craving connection. And so you kind of have to look at what is set in place, what traditions are, what maybe needs to change, needs to be tweaked to meet alumni where they are. And a lot of them are wanting career resources. A lot are wanting more events to build community. So that's really what you have to do is understand the journey of where they are now, and then also where can you meet them once they do reach being an alum. So we've definitely put things in place where we're reaching out to students the moment that they step onto campus. And we're already talking to them like they're a future alum. And we're building relationships with them so that transition is not so hard stop. And we're changing the narrative where it's not just about fundraising and just about money, but it's about community.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. That anticipates my next question, which is when we think about alumni relations, we think about alumni donors, right? But I think, as you mentioned, alumni are valuable to institutions in so many more ways than that. I know in our arts areas, we have not infrequently alums coming back just to talk to students as guests, success stories. Hey, I was in your shoes, whatever, 5 years ago, and now I'm doing this. That is an amazing motivator in my experience for students to see that. Obviously, that's a nice counterpart to there's a scholarship for you that's named for this particular alumni individual or family or whatever that helps too. So building community, you mentioned the Dallas chapter as one of your first connections in this whole realm. Where are these associations existing? What's the status of kind of development of those societies?
So it's kind of a complicated question, but like right now, the Texas Tech Alumni Association, they were separate from the college and now they're joining underneath Texas Tech. So there's a lot of new things and changes coming with that, which I'm real excited about because that's more support. And when I came into this position, I really had to do like a deep dive of where we were at with our alumni base and our audience. And in the arts, it's very different from every other alumni experience I've had because they're doing a lot of different things that has a different focus of what they're interested in. So I felt the charge that we really needed to find a home base to bring all the different things that our schools are doing with alumni and give it a foundation where we can help support that visibility and those opportunities. So everything the School of Music is doing, and School of Art and Theater and Dance and Interdisciplinary Arts. That's why we launched TTU Arts Alumni back in January of 2025 to kind of be that home base so that we could really elevate the experience.
Great. And you allude to, I think, the fact that the arts alums, I think from any institution, Texas Tech certainly, that the career paths are maybe more diverse than the alums from other colleges. So does that present special challenges or maybe special opportunities as you engage with those populations?
It does, but it's a really great opportunity. I don't see it as a challenge. I really see it as a way to highlight what our alumni are already doing and the ways that they're able to find different careers but still using their degree and their creative skills. We really want to highlight their success. And there's been that question of, well, what does this success mean for our alumni specifically? And you might think that it's fame or fortune, but it's more than that. It's an art teacher that is impacting a shy student. It's a dancer forming a community studio, and a theater grad that helps produce a special performance for certain audiences. So as long as our alumni are using their creative skills and they're educating and making an impact, that's what success is.
Sure, yeah. And I'm sure that extends to an alum who, is a manager at a bank or something, but hosts exhibitions or performances or something like that in their capacity in controlling a space or funding or anything like that. I've always been conscious when I'm teaching, especially the early undergrad courses in music, of recognizing and actually saying to students, it's maybe about half of you that are going to be making your living in music someday. But the other half of you, actually, this course is for just as much as those, making your living in music, because you're going to know above average amounts about this art form, which means you're going to love it and support it, whatever your career path. So it sounds like a really exciting opportunity to bring people together from, at some point, very different walks of life, even if they were all kind of in the same hallways and had a locker next to each other or whatever. And in one of our schools in the Talkington College, they may be pursuing very different life paths, but yet they have this love of art in common.
Right.
So I'd like to ask you some more about the opportunities for alumni to get together. Now, I know that the Texas Tech Alumni Association, as this large body, has all kinds of meetings and get-togethers and such, and especially in larger cities. But there are art-specific ones, and those are the ones that really you're overseeing in a lot of cases, right? Kind of causing to happen on behalf of the Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts. How might a person in Houston, let's say, or Albuquerque, avail themselves of one of those, find out about one of those, or even maybe come to volunteer to host one?
So we currently right now have, we host, they're called Educator Alumni Event Series, and it is Art Texas conferences that are held usually in the fall and winter months. So theater has one in October, art has one in November, dance has one in January, and music has theirs in February. So if you're an educator, these events have been put together to, again, build community, have an alumni reception, get everybody together, and we've had tremendous success with these and growth. I'm very excited about the future of them. And music's just killing it right now. But theater, dance, and art are not that far behind, and I'm just happy to support them going forward. And we also have other events that we're bringing to the table. We have a career panel that is going to be on Family Weekend this year, and we are bringing 5 different alumni in that have a career in the arts in some form, but have had some sort of diverse path. And right. They're going to speak to the students and families about the career in the arts and what that looks like. And even if you have to career pivot, what skills that you're going to use and how this is so instrumental to your success, and bring it all back to TCVPA. So, and then we also have our tailgate that is going to be our second year running. And That's also in the fall, and we're really excited about that because that brings students, families, alumni, and art supporters to a very relaxed, fun evening and just be together and support the arts.
Yeah, we do know how to have fun too,
Yeah.
right? I mean, career development and, hosting these events and putting on artistic, productions and such. Of course, that's important, but, a good old-fashioned tailgate is nice as well.
Right.
Right. Well, great. All right. So another thing this brings to mind is I know a few folks that I meet outside of Lubbock, maybe even outside of the state of Texas. And, I went to Texas Tech. I graduated from, some school within our arts college. And yeah, I'm not really in touch, but they always kind of seem like they want to be, right? They kind of feel bad about that in some way. If there's a person in that situation who's hearing this, how might they kind of put themselves back on the radar, get themselves back on, an email list or that sort of thing, or be in touch?
Well, they first can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at TTU Arts Alumni. They can send us a message on there. They can go to our website. We have different forms they can fill out. They can update their information. They can share their story of where they're at with their career, awards they've won, just whatever they want to let us know. They can share career advice for our current students. They can send me a direct email if they want to. My information's everywhere. So there's a lot of different ways. It's just at the end of the day, we want our alumni to feel heard and seen and celebrated for where they are at in their careers. And we want them to feel like they still belong because they do.
Right. And I know as a department chair, I'm always looking for students who are willing to share their stories. And this doesn't have to be, winning a Nobel Prize or getting a show on Broadway or something like that, right? We're just talking about, hey, I'm out in the world. This is how I'm using the degree, and I'm loving what I'm doing, right? Those are great stories. We try to get as many of those cycling through our social media and websites and such as possible. So, yes, getting those folks in contact with you and others who are in the marketing communications area is really important. So certainly encourage anyone listening who thinks like, oh yeah, that was 15 years ago I graduated, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. No one knows who I am, right? Let's fix that, right? I mean, there are ways we can do that, right? So, what are some recent contacts, maybe, or in your time in the position here that you've met folks that have really kind of made you happy that you're in this job, made you excited about being in the arts, and whose stories have really excited you?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I feel like I would be here forever if I listed every single person that I've talked to, just hearing their story. But I think that's what amazes me so much about the arts and is the stories. It's about what everybody is doing, and they're all different stories, but they're all making a lasting impact. And that is something we need to shout from the rooftops. So I'm so happy to be in this position to be able to support that initiative and really bring forth what our alum are doing in the creative fields.
Well, thank you. That's a great and general answer to an overly specific question. And with that, I'm going to thank Kristi Mangiapane for talking with us today on the Art Beat. Thanks and good luck, kind of beating the bushes for alums, but also making them feel as valued as they are.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I love what I do.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye. The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University.